Hey fam, so I just want to run some ideas about something I was thinking about past you. And there was this viral video of a cop lady. She was crying because her food took too long and they kind of made a mistake on her order. She was at McDonald's, right? But she was crying essentially because she was afraid that somebody was going to tamper with her food. Now, recently in a certain Shake Shack, employees put bleach into some officers' drinks. Shake Shack claims it was an accident, but as somebody who worked in the restaurant industry for a super long time, I can tell you that it was done intentionally, without a doubt. Okay, and here's how I know. The cleaning chemicals are stored far away from food. That's the health code regulation. And if you're at a corporate chain like Shake Shack, they have strict adherence to positioning of chemical substances. And near the food line, there is not supposed to be any chemicals at all, period. And you have to usually go in the dish pit area to get chemicals like bleach. And even when you clean those machines, the nozzles and stuff, it's usually flushed out with hot water, soapy water. Very rarely do people use bleach, even though they should. And those containers, either way, wouldn't be stored next to anything while food production is going on. Maybe the janitor might put a bottle there when they close and they clean, but nothing can be allowed to be near there because that's cross, contamination. It's really bad. So there's been, recently, more of those attacks on cops. And here's what I want to say something about that is I once had somebody who tampered with my food because I didn't want to go on a date with him, and he kind of got disgruntled and was a line cook, and he wanted to get revenge. And so he took a bread tie. They're like these plastic ones, and I ordered scrambled eggs with some toast, and he put it in the eggs, right, and gave it to me. And then when I ate it, I saw it was there, and that happened quite a few times to the point where I had to complain to the owner, like, this guy's harassing me. And it changes the way after that, it changes the way you interact with food preppers because somebody has traumatized you and can tamper with your food. Think about it. In medieval Europe, the Catholics used to poison each other's wine. I mean, food poisoning. Kings used to have food tasters. It was a common form of assassination, was to poison a drink. So I think inherently in our consciousness, once you hear that people who wear your uniform or who look like you or whatever category that you share a similarity with are getting attacked with their food, you're gonna get a little paranoid, a little bit worried, hyper focused, and sensitive, right? So I understand how she feels. And people were making fun of her for crying and stuff and saying like, "Oh, stupid white cop is crying," and I think that's racist. Why is it you stupid white cop? Why do you gotta say her race? And she was a woman, so they tried to make, oh, she's so weak, she's too unstable to be a cop. And it was really sad to see people pile on this cop and take joy in the fact that cops are in fear of their food getting tampered with. Because it shows the arrogance that these people don't know the inner workings of restaurants. If you saw half the disgusting things I've seen, you would never want to eat out again. Surprised more people haven't died. I mean, that's probably what's making everyone's immune systems really strong, is all the disgusting things you see. I mean, I've seen. I'm not. I don't want to ruin your lunch, but that's a big reason why I don't eat out a whole lot, and when I do, it's rare, and why I try to focus on cooking at home. But once you see things in restaurants, you're like, wow. So when food tampering happens, a lot of servers, they tell a cook, especially females, they'll bribe or flirt with a cook to get them to do something to a mean customer's food or to burn it, or like there's just so many different things you can do to purposely make people anxious. And I think it's very troubling that we want to traumatize cops like that. And again, you might think it's justice because, hey, they're killing people, therefore we should get them back. I mean, you could also poison somebody by accident, though. What if that cop saves that shake to give to his girlfriend or to give to his kid, and you think he's gonna drink it but he doesn't, and then you poison somebody by accident? You shouldn't be playing with someone's food. As somebody who works in the restaurant industry, I gotta tell you, these people, they trust you. They trust you to do the best. And when you violate that trust, you're breaking this like contract of civility between society and business. And you're also ruining the reputation of the place you work for. Indeed, you might not care about the place you work. I didn't care about a few places that I worked at. If they burned to the ground or not, I wouldn't care. But you need to know that on your resume, you'll be attached to that company, right? And do you want to ruin your resume for that? Are you really going to be a hero, and is it really worth the jail time? And that cop could have a family member who could come after you, right? Especially if they die. I mean, revenge is going to come back. You can't just poison a cop and not expect anything to happen. And you should be ashamed of yourself. Because that cop, you don't know if that cop beat anybody. They could have just helped the grandma cross the road, let's put it that way, with a cliche example, and then you poisoned him. Think about that. And indeed, even if you're not religious, or you're gonna pay eventually, regardless of what religion you believe in, that for that crime that you did to that cop. And if you don't feel pity when you see somebody crying because they're nervous about eating food that's been tampered with, because there's been a pattern of cops getting poisoned, and you think it's funny to watch someone suffer and anxious like that, just like they just like, if you enjoy that, you're a sick person. And if you're enjoying that kind of suffering, don't be surprised when your turn comes and people don't feel sorry for you. A lot of police reform has happened. Protests met. Don't, though, encourage people to poison cops. Those cops have family members, man. They wear a uniform. It's just sad that some people act like that. Get it together. Fix your morality.